Hello and welcome to VistaTalks, interesting discussions with interesting people from all around the world. I am your host for today, María Roa, and I am happy to introduce you to Sara Basile. Sara has more than 14 years of experience in the localization industry at global enterprises. She is the product director at XTM International, and in her role, Sara leads product operations and owns the strategic product vision, ensuring customer value. Sara is an advocate for innovation and smart technology, and she has built a customer-centric approach to product manager. Sara, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, I would like to start knowing and finding out what did inspire you to pursue a career in localization and product management?
Oh, well, I can say I've really dealt with foreign languages and cultures my entire life. And already as a child, I remember that foreign languages were my favorite subject in school. I started learning English in primary school, and already there I felt like speaking a foreign language was helping me explore really sides of myself that I didn't know about. Indeed, I think it's really scientifically proven that the brain works differently when speaking a different language. So
It does.
yeah. So I could really experiment this on myself. And I was also very shy as a kid, so I really didn't speak that much. But I remember that when I knew that I had to or I could speak a foreign language, I was really excited about that. So I really couldn't miss a chance to do that. And English was the first language that I had in school, but then, of course, other languages came after that. This is not just about foreign languages, also, I think it is combined with my passion for exploring and experiencing different cultures. In particular, I've been really fascinated by the possibility of connecting different cultures and creating inclusive environments. And I think localization, translation as an industry, it is really the best place where to create that inclusive environment. So for this reason, I really started to learn a lot of languages. So I made this choice, and then at some point I also moved out of my home country, Italy, when I was about 20. So I moved to Germany, and I now chose this country for the rest of my life. And here I landed a career as a translator first, then got into project management and worked for several enterprises. But this is where then over time I started to develop a really passion for technology and translation technology. And I must say that really everything that happened later was based on self-development, research, and learning on the field. When I was still on the client side, for example, I was a lot involved in researching and implementing technology, and got to experience several localization tools. And it's also when I started to develop a passion for the problems that these tools were trying to solve. And somehow I always found something that, in my opinion, could have been done better or differently by these tools. And at that time, I also started to use XTM Cloud myself as a user. And this is when I also became quite a power user back then, as I was responsible for the XTM Cloud implementation on the client side as a program manager. And this is where I would like to say, really, I fell in love with XTM. So with everything, the tool, the team, and also this vision that XTM has of automating the entire end-to-end localization and international go-to-market process for customers. And not just any process, really, but an enterprise-grade one with all of its complexities, dependencies, advanced requirements, and all of this within a tool which really knows what interoperability and vendor neutrality means. So one thing led to another, and I, so to say, moved to the other side of the fence. So I joined XTM as a product manager in 2020. Then XTM expanded also with new acquisitions, and now I'm the product director, so director of the operations throughout the portfolio. So I guess what really inspired me to start a career in product management is that I am a listener and problem solver by nature. I really love listening to customers and their feedback, trying to go deeper and deeper and analyze, really almost like a psychologist, what they're trying to tell me, and then find a solution with my team. It's really important to me because I've been a user myself for such a long time. And really, I think there is nothing better and more rewarding than hearing from a user in the end, you solved my problem. Or, for example, you made me more productive. Or thanks to this solution, I now feel empowered to use technology, even if I'm not a tech-savvy person. So this is really rewarding to me.
I agree. But how do you balance sometimes those customer needs with the technological advancements in the localization industry? Because sometimes I do know that, the clients need something faster than we can develop things, like they want it now, and we're still trying to do it. How do you balance this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, well, as I said, I really love listening and solving for the user. And this is not just my thing. So I think really this is in the company DNA. And we know product management is all about finding this balance among users, market, and business. So to be honest, however, I think that everything always starts with the user and has to start with the user in mind. Because if we consider all these market trends and technological advancements, this all happens because there is always a problem at the beginning that it needs to be solved. And technology is just a way to solve this problem, one of the many ways. And as we monitor market trends and see how technology, especially now with Gen AI, is pushing more and more the boundaries forward, our question is always, okay, but how our users are really going to benefit from this? So how are they going to adopt this technology? What's in it for them? So in the end, it's not just about helping our customers to automate the process of translating or localizing something from A to B, but I think that over the years, it's become more about really how to help drive digital adoption and transformation for our customers. And as I said, this always starts with the user in mind. So from that perspective, we provide several tools and ways to empower our customers to submit feedback in a effective way. And I would like to start by mentioning the wish list. This is a platform that can be accessed from our website and where our users can see what we release, but also what we are planning to release, and where they can also really upvote features or provide additional feedback on features. And this feedback then directly flows into our product management process, where my team then analyzes this feedback on a weekly or even daily basis. And of course, this is always an analysis that happens with resources and business requirements in mind. Then, of course, also our product engineering teams analyze what's the best way to solve these problems based on the technology trends that we have. And my team also uses the feedback to get in touch then directly and engage with these customers that submitted this feedback and have conversations with them to try and understand better the ideas or problems that they submitted. And when there is an update about an idea, users then users that submitted this idea then are automatically notified through the platform and then are kept up to date throughout the entire process until release. Then, of course, also our customer success team helps our customers stay on top of their requests by leveraging this tool, the wish list, to keep them up to date on what they submitted and really showing the impact that they made on the release. Our wishlist users are also often selected for our beta or XTM Labs programs. So these programs that enable customers to adopt our features early in the process before GA. And in this way, they get a chance to experiment the solution for the problem that they submitted in the first place. And it's really rewarding to be able to show them in the end really what is the impact that they made on the roadmap, and that each single feature that we have on the roadmap really was powered by user feedback. And this is not just the only thing. So of course, in order for us to stay on top of what customers really want and really making sure that we focus on the right trends and problems, we have a great customer advisory board. This is made up of selected customers, trusted customers coming from different industries and with different profiles. And this is used by us as a sounding board and really a group that enables us to discuss market trends, discuss current problems, and it's also a way for them to get early access to some of the functionalities that we are about to release and always stay up to date on our roadmap.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So not everyone has access to the wish list, do they?
Everyone, yes.
Oh, everyone
has
it's access.
It's just necessary to sign up. So I create an account on our website, and then anyone can just have a look.
Wow, That sounds incredible. You must get so many
Yes,
ideas and so much
sometimes it feels
feedback from
overwhelming,
there.
yeah. But it's a good
Yeah.
sign. So it means that customers are engaged and they still feel like they feel like we'll listen to them, right? Otherwise they wouldn't do it. So I think it's great.
No, it is
Mm.
great. It is great. So I wanted to ask you, obviously, about what we're all talking, and we've been talking for the past year and a half. What role does responsible AI play in product development? Because AI is all over the place. But what about responsible AI?
Yeah. So
Transparency, data security.
yeah. So the concept of responsible AI, I think, really very well aligns with the value that XTM has represented for more than 20 years already. And the value is that the customer always comes first, and the same applies to their data. So we started releasing our first AI feature, like with the aligner, almost a decade ago. Then in 2020 came additional features like automatic placement of inline tags, bilingual terminology extraction, and other things. But now, especially with Gen AI, we started feeling like it's really time to officially share our AI principles as a way to show our commitment to treat our customer data with the highest security and confidentiality standards. And these AI principles have been made public back in March, I think, this year. They are now published on our website. There are four. So it's empower customers to scale, guarantee transparency, keep your data safe, and make ourselves accountable. So what this all means is, well, first of all, the concept of customer centricity and scalability. We, of course, aim at having AI and great AI in the tool, but we always remember that this has to happen with a real problem in mind. So AI features need to be in the tool to really address a specific use case and user needs. And scalability, because of course, everyone experiments with LLMs. It's really nice to do something on the playground with GPT, but when it comes to really adopting scalable AI-driven workflows, this is a different story, and this is where then we would like to play a pivotal role. The transparency, which is crucial, it means that whenever we have any AI-driven functionalities in the tool, our customers need to know it. So they need to know that there is some AI features in the tool that is enabled maybe in the background that is processing their data. So for us, it's extremely important to do that. And of course, the optionality is really essential. So we want to make sure that the customers that use our AI features have expressly opted in and they can opt out at any point in time, and that they are also be informed about not just the functionalities, but also the limitations of our AI features. And also the concept of keeping their data safe. Of course, we always prioritize the protection, the integrity of customer data. We would, for example, never reuse customer data to train models, or even worse, send this data out of XTM. If we really wanted to utilize data to improve our features, we will only do it with express consent from our customers.
Yeah, that's super important.
Yeah. And finally, the accountability piece, which is really at the center of everything that we do. So also our executive team holds us accountable for making sure that these principles are followed, and it's only in this way we can really maintain true integrity.
Well, it sounds like you have everything covered. Well, you've been talking through it, I think, through all your answers, but when you're taking care of project management, you have lots of people involved, lots of teams, developers, customers, engineers. How do you foster collaborations between so many people? Because I bet there is lots of communication going on, and you have to keep everyone, in the same wavelength, make sure that everyone understands what everyone needs, and get the outcome that you need. So how do you do this? How do you foster that collaboration?
Indeed, that's a topic, especially as the company expands, right? So you have more people joining the
Oh, yeah.
teams, and you need to make sure that you have good onboarding processes in place. So of course, onboarding is crucial. And we always talk about product people as the ones getting in front of customers, making product discovering, user research, and all this cool stuff. But I also believe really in the power of taking developers on a call or on a meeting in front of a customer and really get them to experience the pain that they are experiencing. This doesn't really happen on every call. Of course, this is not always possible. So since I joined XTM, I've always made this this is priority really to establish at least processes or implement tools that help us collaborate, even if we cannot really directly talk with each other. So as you also said, I mentioned the wish list earlier. Again, this is really a really powerful tool. I will always be grateful for all the users that submit feedback there, because they really take the time to explain what they're going through in their own words. And this is really what makes the difference, because in this way, our product team has the right tools and the customer quotes to create powerful user stories and think about the right use cases. This also reaches the developers, so developers can always tap into that. And these examples provided by customers can even create a great baseline for like test cases and test automation. So this really to show the power of the feedback. Sometimes I think maybe our wishlist customers don't realize how powerful this feedback is that they're submitting, because sometimes maybe they don't hear back from us. Sometimes not all their ideas can be considered, but this is normal. And at some point, there is always going to be a case where we will need that feedback. So we'll be able to go back in time and then find what they requested. But apart from the wish list, of course, we have other ways to get together. And one of these examples is like, of course, industry trends, events and our own events. So those are not just for salespeople. We also try as much as possible to include teammates from different teams and different backgrounds, because this gives them really a great way to experience customer, like the way they use the tool, and they see real life examples of how they use it. So we also had developers and product people on these events, and every time this really proved to be extremely useful for both sides. And of course, while collaboration, we also operate with Scrum methodologies. So collaboration is at the core of this concept. And each team works on every new development together from the start. So we have product owners, developers, testers, designers, and this also goes beyond R&D. In fact, it's very important for us to involve, for example, customer success, sales, or solution engineers during and after the development. So we get validation from them, but they also get to experience the platform improvements at every stage, so before they release.
Okay, it sounds like a big work that you have to do to get everyone involved in the product management. And I know you've been mentioning events and all that. I know you were at World because I saw you there. I mean, you guys were there. You weren't there personally, but your team was there and I was with them. You probably have been seeing lots of trends and innovations at World, but probably at other events. So what do you think? What do you foresee in the localization industry? And how do you think these trends and innovations will impact the product development?
So of course, I can start, if not by mentioning Gen AI. So, but something that I always say about Gen AI is that what makes this disruption so different from past technological disruptions is the accessibility point. So if you think now GPT, when it was first launched a couple of years ago, now it's much easier to play around with GPT on a playground than experimenting with a tablet or smartphone decades ago when they first came out, or even with a laptop before that. This is happening because experimenting with an LLM now requires much less resources, time, and money, so you can even start for free, and at least experimenting to get started, of course. So what that means for the localization industry is that really departments of you or users that really had nothing to do with localization before, because it was something like a specific for localization department, now they really directly get to reap the benefits of multilingual content without, in theory, having to involve a project manager, a linguist, terminology, and so on. So this means that the localization as a responsibility and not department is trying to get decentralized by kind of bypassing as much as possible the human in the loop, or I would say rather the human expert in the loop. So as this technology becomes more accessible to non-localization experts, so to say, I think that for us as localization technology providers, it becomes even more important to make sure that the user experience for these stakeholders is as seamless as possible. For example, I would expect, not just from XTM, but from other technology providers in the space, things like a lot of simplification in terms of how functionalities are designed, or it will become more and more important to ensure interoperability and connectivity across several tools and LLMs, also to enable companies to define their own workflows with more flexibility, so something that best suits their needs, also maybe with an orchestration layer on top. So from this perspective also, I can say that XTM has always been about empowering users and giving them the tools and really the power to decide what's the best workflow for them. For example, our AI quality assurance checks about non-appropriate and gender-biased language, as well as the translation quality evaluation functionality, are really meant to give our users that really control and the right tools to decide what kind of workflow they would like to adopt, and if the human needs to stay in the loop and to which extent. Now, both these functionalities run in our beta program, and they are part of our QA checks. So this means that this level of QA can run on both machine or human translation. So this is not just limited to machine translation. And this means that not just as a post editor or a proofreader, you can leverage this QA to easily pinpoint the most critical issues that you find in a document, but these checks can also run on the source before sending this content for translation. So especially if we think about this multilingual content generation with Gen AI, which is right now a really hot topic, for industries that require quality control, like for example, for more regulated industries, but not just for them, I think it will become really imperative to quickly run this kind of QA on multiple languages to ensure that potential mistakes don't get quickly propagated and create bad repercussions or even damage in terms of brand reputation. But another really important aspect of Gen AI, I think, is the concept of context. So when generating content in any language, I think that we have enough market research out there that proves that LLMs are really great at digesting context to improve their output dynamically. So where to take that context from if not from a TMS, where all the translations, translation memories, terminology are stored. And this is what we wanted to leverage with our new XTM AI Smart Context feature, which is also currently in beta. So with this feature, we wanted to give our users exactly the possibility of creating content with the highest possible speed through an LLM, like GPT in the case of this feature, and at the same time also without compromising on quality and brand consistency. So this can also be paired with the quality assurance checks that I was mentioning before. But although this really feels like a really powerful technology, what we come across very often when talking with our customers about this is that LLMs still feel like a black box. So, for example, users wonder, okay, why did the LLM produce this translation, or why did it produce this quality score? The concept of explainable AI is really important for us. For example, when it comes to the translation quality evaluation QA check, we are planning to introduce ways of kind of guiding our users through the decisions that the LLM made, and in this way to make them feel in control, so that it feels like the LLM is it's not a black box, but more of a tool that supports them and behaves according to their needs. This also happened with neural machine translation a couple of years ago, and now I think this is happening the same with Gen AI. The role of each stakeholder in the process will need to change. I think this is also a very important trend. This means that translators or post editors will need to become, of course, confident with the concept of the LLM, with data curation to train an LLM. Also, engineers will need to be more open and experiment with the integration capabilities of their tools with an LLM instead of just delegating these integration topics to a localization department. On the other hand, this is not always that easy, especially if we look at enterprises that require mature and scalable Gen AI-driven workflows, as I was mentioning before. Here, I think that localization professionals really have an opportunity to rethink their role and kind of step up within the organization and act as the human orchestrators, so the ones that really define the workflows and the standards in terms of quality requirements, human involvement in the loop, and of course also in terms of how the data needs to be processed. This is not just reshaping the role of the stakeholders in the localization departments and workflows, but this is also reshaping the concept of the TMS. And we see this is inevitably happening. I think the TMS is still going to be play a really important role also within the Gen AI adoption, especially at enterprise level, because the TMS takes all this heavy lifting, like the file processing and the asset management and the scalability, which is, I think, one of the most crucial points, together with interoperability and connectivity. So all these things would have to be recreated anyways if you want to achieve really an enterprise-grade solution. So that's why I think that a TMS now more than ever is really needed.
You gave me so much information in so little time. I think we're gonna need like a part 2 or something, because this is crazy. You said, I mean, seriously, you just gave us so much information about all these innovations that you're thinking and you're foreseeing for the next year. We really,
Yeah,
we
stream
should,
of thoughts, sorry.
yeah, no.
It was a good question, so it kind of triggered a lot of
we should talk more in depth about it. But I mean, we just came to the end, and I feel like we really need to talk about all this. So keep your thoughts, because we might need to do another VistaTalks just talking about this. But before we go, I really want to ask you if there is anything that you think we haven't talked about, or anything that you're working on that you would like to share with our audience, because we ran out of time and I don't want you to leave anything behind or thinking that I didn't let you say it before we go.
Sure, no, thanks for the opportunity. So I would really love to mention that we just released our newest version of XTM Cloud 13.7. So this comes with a lot of great things that we've been working on for the past several months. So I mentioned the beta program before with our AI features. This release is now coming with great improvements for this functionality. So again, the translation quality evaluation, QA check for gender bias and inappropriate language, and our GPT integration with smart context. So especially with smart context now, the GPT integration is empowering our beta testers, but then in the next release, everyone, when it's made public, to leverage the power of GPT, and at the same time also the power of translation memory. So the translation memories in this feature are dynamically reused on the fly to improve the GPT output. And of course, this is not the only component. So this is paired with some secret sauce that is running in the background to make sure that we provide the best output for our customers. The AI area is, of course, not the only thing which we're working on. With this new release, we have also launched the fully redesigned workflow editor. This is really giving a complete new user experience to our customers, and this is going to be a phased release. So we're going to keep adding new functionalities to the new workflow editor over the next releases. And last but not least, we also added 300 new languages to XTM Cloud. So now I think we're getting closer to the 1,000 mark, if I'm not wrong. And as always with new releases, we always offer free webinars that highlight the top feature highlights of the version. So the first one is going to be on July 15 for our European audience. And right after that, we're going to have the US webinar. And well, we talked about events before. We're going to be at TechCom and Lockwood in the second half of the year as well. And it's going to be a great way, again, to meet other customers, peers, professionals. And if anyone who is listening is going to be there, of course, feel free to step by and say hi. Something really cool which we're working on is also XTM Academy. XTM Academy is an on-demand e-learning platform that really empowers our users to get up to speed with XTM Cloud really very quickly. Sometimes XTM, with all of the advanced workflows and options and customization options, this can feel a bit overwhelming sometimes. So now we are taking the burden off of the customer shoulders, so to say, when XTM Cloud gets implemented, and we offer XTM Academy as an opportunity for the customer to get onboarded on their own. We actually launched this initiative in Q1 this year, but we are extending it with every quarter by adding new courses, and we envision actually this to become eventually also a certification program for our customers. And last but not least, we have also gone through and are still going through a rebranding process. You may have heard from the news, we recently acquired Rigi, after then XCRF, and we, XTM as a TMS, then rebranded as the XTM translation platform. So really with Rigi and XTRF, we made these strategic acquisitions to, again, having in mind our mission to cover the end-to-end localization workflow for our customers. This is getting us really one step closer to that, because Rigi offers really powerful in-context dynamic reviews for software translation, software strings, while XTRF covers the business management and vendor management capabilities. So together with the powerful translation management platform and XTM, this is really meant to empower our customers with this end-to-end solution without really leaving any gaps. So yeah, I think I mentioned everything. So yeah, thanks again for giving me the opportunity.
Oh, thank you. And probably we'll see each other at TechM and Lockworld, and it will be a great place to meet. So thank you so much for being with us. I'm sorry we didn't have more time, but for sure we do need to talk about all those innovations that you foresee, because yeah, we need more in-depth talking about that. But seriously, thank you for being with us, Sara.
Thank you.
Well, that's the end of today's show with Sara Basile. Please make sure to tune in again to see or to listen to the next VistaTalks show, where we will be discussing more interesting topics with interesting people from all around the globe. Thank you.